In the wake of bee attacks that have resulted in deaths of 4 persons in Berbice and on the east coast of Demerara, government has announced several interventions that aim to mitigate against any more deaths from Africanized bees in the wild. Key among the many interventions launched through the Ministry of Agriculture is heightened public awareness messages broadcast on local television and social media. These messages advise residents what to do in the event they come across a hive or swarm of bees in their houses, yard, or in open spaces. Previously, the government, through the ministry, offered bee removal services only to government offices and the homes of pensioners. But on Thursday last, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa announced that the service will now be provided to residential areas.
Bee industry is a very important industry, and I have been advised by our technical officer, especially the CEO of GLDA, who has responsibility for the bees around the country, to look at some of the issues that we have been dealing with. He had advised that this period is a honey season, and last year, because of the heavy rainfall that we have had, the bees were unable to go and settle to make their nectars technically. So as a result of that, now we are seeing a widespread areas that these bees are going to occupy. So I want to appeal to residents, let us be very careful. The GLDA have already put out an advisory. If you have any issue, call. We have a hotline, and that hotline will be published shortly. Call. What I have now instructed GLDA to do, to also extend the services that we have been provided to public buildings and public spaces to residential areas too, so that we can help the resident to curb and not eradicate, but control the bee, because the bee industry, the honey industry, is a very, very important, lucrative industry that we can have a lot of income coming in from. But we have to ensure that we abide with all the rules and regulation. We abide with all the guidelines that the GLDA have been putting out, so that we can rear these bees and also control the spread of these bees, and we can save the honey industry.
Members of the public who come across swarms of bees or discover hives in their homes or yard are advised not to interfere with the swarm or hive, as this could prove fatal. Instead, the GLDA should be immediately contacted on telephone number 220-6556-7 or the Ministry of Agriculture's hotline on telephone number 694-6878. Over the years, the GLDA has been working closely with the Guyana Apicultural Society, an organization comprising beekeepers and other stakeholders of the honey production industry in Guyana, with a view to advancing the productive capacity of the sector. Mr. Neil Grant is the chairman of the Apiculture Society here and spoke of the health of the industry at this time.
As it is today, in terms of the beekeeping industry as a whole in Guyana, what I would say is that it is healthy, it's getting better, it is poised for greater expansion and growth, primarily due to we have seen a sustained level of interest generated coming out of the Congress held in 2018. And that has continued to generate interest, and persons have been coming on board and are making approaches to us, individuals who want to get involved in beekeeping, donor agencies who want to support beekeeping, who want to invest in beekeeping. They have been coming to us and approaching various individuals. And so we see a general uptick in the interest being generated and the desire for persons to get involved. I mean, that also is fueled by the fact that because of all the emphasis on healthy eating and the recognition that honey is one of the more health conscious foods, and therefore there is a demand, an increased demand for especially organic and natural honey in the world, across the world. So that has also been helping to fuel and generate the interest in beekeeping and honey production as a whole.
According to Mr. Grant, the demand for honey is so great in Guyana that there has been an influx of fake honey. that have negatively impacted the credibility of the authentic local commodity. But he said members of the public are becoming wiser to what is honey from hives and fake honey that is manufactured using corn or fructose syrup.
Our estimates, based on the interactions that we've had, inform us that there is a very, very high demand for honey that is organic honey, or honey that is natural. There is obviously a recognition that we have been dealing with a lot of fake or adulterated honey. But once persons recognize that the honey that they are getting is pure and is coming from the hives is unadulterated, there is an increased demand and persons are demanding it. And there, we have not been able to produce the kind of quantities that are being demanded because our production seasons, our production cycle is so short that the amount being produced is not able to satisfy the year-round demand for honey in Ghana. And that is only locally. That's not even begun to scratch the surface of exports and external sources who also have a demand. We are being told that places like Trinidad and all across the Caribbean, they want honey coming from Ghana, but because of situations that are beyond our control, at least for the time being, we are not able to meet the export demands of those persons or meet the demands of those persons from the external regions.
Commenting on the spate of recent fatalities as a result of persons coming under attack by bees, Vice Chairman of the Apiculture Society, Mr. Lyndon Stewart, himself a beekeeper, explained that attacks as those that have happened occur at this time of the year due mainly to the fact that trees are blossoming at this time.
Based on the current situation that is occurring now, I would just like to alert the public that at this time of the year, most of the trees are blossoming in the wild, and the bees that lives in the wild will be gathering nectar to store as food for the bad weather, such as the rainy weather. Now, bees are very territorial, and we must understand that the bees we have in Guyana is the Africanized honeybees. Africanized honeybees are very territorial, and they're very defensive. Persons who are doing clearing of vegetation has to be aware that bees resides in parts of these vegetation. We would like to have a campaign going out for persons who are disposing old refrigerators and freezers and tires and stoves and drums in the parapet. When the vegetation covers them, bees in the wild use them as residents. Persons who are going to clear the vegetation does not understand that bees are living in these containers that are being disposed. Now, we are asking them, when you're going to do clearing of vegetation, at this time of the year, once the bees picked up vibration or scent from that person who's going to clear, the bees will try to defend their honey because they will think it's a predator. The vibration and scent is coming from a predator. They can pick up the vibration and scent from a person for more than 50 feet away from their colony. And once they pick that up, they will try to defend. Bees understands that any vibration is a predator coming to take their honey. Now, we are asking persons, when you're going to clear, do not wear things like high fragrance. If you know you had a drink the night before and you have strong alcohol in your breath, do not go to do clearing, because if the bees picked up the scent from the alcohol breath of that person, it's going to alarm the colony. The bees release alarming pheromone when they're going to do attacks, and once that alarming pheromone is raised, the bees will come out to defend their hive. Now, bees are important to us. We do not want persons to think anything negative about them. Remember, they are responsible for 1/3 of the food we eat. They are responsible for 1/3 of the food Guyana produce. They are responsible for 1/3 of the food the world produces due to pollination. So, we are asking persons, once you identify bees are living in your area or in the forest, in the buildings, kindly call the GLDA or call the Guyana Apiculture Society.
I asked Mr. Stewart, what should a person who finds him or herself under attack by bees or is in close proximity to someone being attacked do under the circumstance?
If you find yourself under attack by bees, the first thing to do, run as fast as possible. Do not try to swat the bees because you're making them more defensive and they will keep attacking you. Do not jump into a river, do not jump into a stream, do not jump into a trench. 80% of the persons who do that died. Run as fast as possible. If you have a vehicle close by that you can go into, you can go into the vehicle. If there's a building you can go into for safety, you can enter the building and make sure it's locked tight behind your back. But if there is none, run as fast as possible. There is a myth that persons will tell you if you come under attack by bees to lie down, put your face down, and stop breathing. Now, if you do that, you will stop breathing permanently because the bees will attack you and they will not stop stinging you until you're motionless. Bees can sense vibration and scent from more than 50 feet away from the hive, and they has a tendency of chasing a victim for more than a mile. So now, if you have to save someone that is being under attack, let's say you're standing at your home, on your step or your platform or whatever, and you see someone is being attacked on the street, that person might be lying on the ground because they don't know what to do and they just keep trying to fan the bees off of them. Quickly, get a bucket of soap water, trench yourself with it, and then run outside with another bucket of soap water and throw on the victim. Soap water will kill bees instantly.
Again, the Ministry of Agriculture is advising persons to contact the GLDA immediately once they discover a swarm or the presence of a hive in close proximity to residential areas on telephone number 220-6556-7 or the Ministry of Agriculture hotline on 694-6878. Do not disturb the hive.